Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the #1 home improvement YouTube channel in the entire world. Today, we're going to be grouting this backsplash, and I'm going to do my best to tell you everything you need to know about grouting tile backsplash. First step is you got to make sure that your tile is clean, and you got to make sure that your grout joints are clean. I just see one that I missed already. So I've gone over this two times already with a knife, a little wood shim. I have a cleaning rag somewhere around here. I want to make sure that I don't have any grout that squeezed its way out. It's best to do this 8 hours, 6 hours, depending on the temperature and humidity. The tile will be set up. The thin set will be set up, but it won't be rock hard. It'll be real easy to take a knife and scrape out anything that is poking through. When you're using a dark grout, you want to use a dark thin set. So if you do have something poking through of your thin set, it blends right in, you never notice. But if you go to put black grout over the top of white thin set and you got all these little white dots because you didn't clean it out or you were sloppy, you can have an ugly tile job. Vice versa. Going with natural gray, it's supposed to look like this, which is awesome for me, the installer, because it's the exact same color as my thin set. I'm going to use water and I'm going to seal later. This is unsanded, hopefully commercial 100% sealant, silicone sealant. So this has silicone in it. They say it's 100% silicone. This is going to be used for areas right up against this piece of wood here. And I also like to put a nice straight tape line up underneath the cabinets. I'll grout it and put a caulk joint right over it so that it's laser straight. Here is final mix of the grout. Keep in mind it's not going to be this dark. It should lighten up. Get an idea of the consistency.
Make it the consistency of peanut butter.
It doesn't taste like peanut butter, so don't eat it. Moving right along, you can tell that it's kind of a messy job. You want to hit these grout joints at an angle. Don't smear it along the line like that, but every which way. And they have to be packed full all the way in until it has actually smushed into the thin set that's holding the tile on. Yeah, that's about it. Just got to keep smushing it in there. You want to avoid going back and putting it in after. If you have a void, you can do it. It's not that big of a deal, but you want to do it one pass if you can. I keep mixing up the grout as I go along so it doesn't harden up on me or stiffen up. I use the short end when doing this wall tile because it puts more force on the grout joints and packs it in there. You gotta pack it in deep. Now if you're doing floor tile, you have gravity working with you. You can literally just dump the grout on the floor and just work it back and forth with the long side. So you see I'm moving it this way just to get it on there, and then I'll come up at an angle. That does is it just gets it in there, packs it in. If I said that enough yet? Packing it in deep. Hey, this is just to show you the wipe process. You want to go at an angle. Again, if you go with the grout joints, you're going to end up scooping too much out. So just a pass like that. Now sometimes you got thick grout on there, you're going to have to go in circles, and it does even it out. It'll take some of that grout that's built up on the tile and kind of smear it in to the rest of the grout joints and even it out. So right about here is good enough, and then I can move on with putting it in This is just the first pass. There will be a second pass and then a buff. The buff will happen after it's set up quite a bit. Be careful going around these. I have shorted out an outlet with a wet sponge a few times. Nothing happens, nobody dies. Now I've had people ask in the past when I do tile videos, keep in mind these are people who have never seen tile installed before. They may have never seen tile in their entire life. But they are very confused by this process right here. They can't believe that this is how grout is applied. Well, it is. It is. If you're one of those, or this is the first time you've ever seen tile or tile installed, this is how grout is applied. I do understand that it seems very messy, kind of crude in the process. A lot of times they suggest I use a caulk gun and caulk every single line. And I guess I can kind of understand that could be in someone's thought process on how to do grout is just caulk every line. Just caulk it. Don't do this smear stuff. So if you're wondering how this would short out, I'll bring you in close so that you don't make that mistake. So what happens is, take a look here on the side of this. One of these is hot. Oh, that's garbage disposal. Okay. All you have to do, so this is ground, and I'll call this one hot. All you have to do is touch a sponge to both the metal here and that screw, and vice versa. And you get a little zappy zap. Just for your reference, this is the third bucket of water that I've used on this wall here so far. And I'm about halfway through. So it'll be 5 to 6, easily 6 buckets of water where I take this out, dump it, clean the sponge, clean the bucket, put fresh clean water in it. I'm going on, I think this will be my last pass with a sponge. I got 2 sponges going just to make them last a little longer in between cleans of the water. When I say I'm getting a bucket full of water, it's only about 1/3 full. And then it gets dirty and you gotta go swap it out. So I don't want to say it's an art form, but you have to know how much to wipe out and how much not to wipe out. So in this area here, I can see some of the grout that's creeping out onto the tile and doesn't have a perfectly straight line. Couple swipes with the sponge, and sometimes you need to go up and down. Whew, now that's perfectly crisp lines there. This area here needs some action. But now we're looking good. Whoo-wee! Is that perfect? The backsplash is 100% done. It's perfect. Perfect. So the next day after you sponge things off, there'll be some dust on the tile. You got to go back and clean it all off again. If you come across an area where, I'm trying to find an example because it's just so perfect. There is none. Yeah, right. There's one right there. Just take your thumbnail and go right down the edge. If you have a little bit of grout kind of spilling out, it didn't get wiped clean enough. When you have this real shiny tile, it's very easy to get straight lines and to do some corrections after. If you see something that just isn't perfect, kind of overwhelmed thinking of all the work I got to do in the next 2 years. I think I can retire in 2 years, believe it or not. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that bell is clicked so you're notified when the next video comes out. The original and official caulk gun hat is now available, as well as you can get it on a t-shirt. There's only one place in the world you can get high quality hats, high quality t-shirts, the highest quality that you can get. Like Gucci, but handy. Goodbye.